Hello, welcome, and happy Christmas to everyone who celebrates. For those who don't, happy 25th. Hope you're having a really good day. So today we're going to have a little dive into r/best of Redditor updates, maybe a little bit of Am I the Bought Hole if we have time. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in listening to today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please, thank you. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by my birthday in March, so maybe pop a little subscribe, just help a girl out here, please. Okay, so before we get started, if any of you are wondering, Void, why the hell are you posting on Christmas Day? Go and chill with your kids. Don't worry, first off, this is pre-recorded and pre-edited. Second off, I wanted to make sure there was something posted today because I know what it's like when you're trying to escape from family for a bit and have something else to do and just get your mind at rest for a little bit, which is weird considering the stories we read, but you know what I mean. I wanted somewhere for people to come and hang out if they needed a bit of time away from family, because I know chilling with family is not always the most fun for a whole day. And also, if anyone's just like on their own and they want something to listen to, and then come and chill out in the comments, because there'll probably be a couple of us. I know that I'll be dipping in and out the comments, and there'll be other people I'm sure there. So if you need someone to chit chat to, post in the comments. I'm sure someone will reply, if not me, of course. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure there was something posted today, so we all have somewhere to retreat to for whatever reason. Anyway, let's get into the post then, shall we? So this one was posted to the subreddit by Direct Caterpillar 77, and the title says, "Boyfriend 23M has implied that he'd leave me 22F if I wouldn't stop playing my PS4. This is the second story now of a dude having an issue with their girlfriend playing on a console of some sort. So, of course, Direct Caterpillar is not the original poster. They are the person who compiled it into Best of Redditor updates for us. The original poster is u/throwaway 908070X. And we have some trigger warnings for sexism and controlling behaviour. It was originally posted October 14th, 2016. Hi, I know this isn't your normal question, but it's doing my head in. And I'm not trolling, I swear. I'm from the UK, could already tell by the fact you said, but it's doing my head in. And I have a very, very good job for someone my age, but that means it can be very stressful. When I come home from work, I like to wind down and play maybe an hour or two on my PS4. My favourite game is Fallout 4, and I play it maybe 2-3 times a week. Is that it? My boyfriend adored the fact that I loved games, but I don't play them as much as I'd like to. My boyfriend's idea of winding down after work near the end of the week is going to the pub. I happily go, obviously, to socialise, but I'm already done with that stage of my life where I want to go out and get drunk now. But I do enjoy a drink. I 100% get you. I have no interest in going out and getting slaughtered anymore, to be honest with you. Used to be my forte, but after having kids, reaching the ripe old age of 34, I'm just like, nah, I'll chill with my cats instead and play PS4, funnily enough. But this morning he invited me out to drinks, and I have been absolutely shattered this week and haven't once looked at my PS4, and I honestly just want to sleep tonight. He immediately jumped on the defensive and said, "You're more invested into that PS4 than me. All you ever do is sit and play it," which isn't true. We have an amazing regular sex life, great circle of friends, and I do make sure communication is a thing we have and are honest with each other. And we've been together for almost a year, and it's coming close to our anniversary. I told him that it wasn't true, and I always offer him to play it, or with me, and let him have free reign of it. He can use it more than me sometimes. And he said, "Well, it isn't ladylike, oh my god, for girls to be playing. Shut up. You're far too old to be playing it anymore," whilst he also plays it. What? This is the exact talking point that the other idiot used as well. It may sound silly, but it kind of stung. I've loved playing games since I was little. We argue over it, and he basically says that I needed to get a grip and that he's had enough, and started shouting and mocking me for it, then threatened to leave. That's the point when I'd be like, "There's the door then. you know what to do. I'm honestly not trolling. I'm just stunned. He didn't even come home after work and went straight out with our friends. Do I talk to him about it or just leave him? Am I too old for it? Am I childish for this? No. TLDR, boyfriend says I play my PS4 too much when I like to play it 2 to 3 times a week for half-an-hour intervals, has mocked me for it and said it's not ladylike and that he'd leave me if I didn't choose him. Let him leave, he seems more interested in the pub and he's annoyed you won't come to the pub. Be gone, seems like you're at different stages of your life. Relevant comments? Hydrocon says, yeah, he's an asshole. I game way more than that, and my fiance is fine with it. We both prefer chilling out at home rather than going out to unwind after a long day, though. Your boyfriend sounds like a jerk and is trying to manipulate you. If it was me, I'd leave him if he didn't apologise and ever said something like that again. OOP says, funnily enough, he's just texted me saying that he was sorry, but you needed a dose of truth. You can stick your dose of truth up where the sun don't shine, my love. He's basically said sorry, not sorry to me. Yup. I'm amazed at how much of a dick he is being. I'm definitely considering ending things. I'm trying to make a rational decision, as I'm still a little bewildered by it. Deleted user then says, you're playing excessively and it's encroaching on our couple time equals reasonable complaint. You shouldn't play because you're a girl equals unreasonable complaint, also sexist, also what the hell happened to my voice then? I swear it's these antibiotic eardrops I'm on at the moment. Since I've been using them, I feel like my voice is all over the shop. It's like I have gravel in my throat. Is he a douche about you doing other unladylike activities? Edit. And he yells and mocks you in anger. Dump. So, update October 5th, the next day. We made up. Not. Good, because you had me for a minute then and I was going to be fuming. He came back home drunk at like 4 AM and I had a few things gathered together as I decided that I'm going to be staying at my parents' for a while and sort things out like rent, etc. See, obviously I wouldn't be like immediately like break up with him because it could have been a blip and it could have just been that you need to give him a bit of a shake back to reality and go, mate, it's not all about you and that's not on and don't talk to me like that. Set a few boundaries and if he sticks to them, good-o. But obviously OP's been majorly turned off by him by now, and sometimes once that happens, like it's like a light switch, it's gone and you don't get it back, so fair enough. Before I left for my parents, he apologised in the morning at like 10 AM, took the day off of work because of it, but didn't apologise for calling me out on my addiction 2 to 3 times a week, might I add, for 1 to 2 hours. Oh, that's a terrible addiction. You know, like going to the pub every night could be. And just telling me to quit my boy habits. Where is he getting this rhetoric from? I was baffled and asked what it is he wants from this relationship because I was under the impression he wanted me to break up with him, and he said for me to listen to him and basically do what he says. And there we have it. So I told him that I am listening to him and that I didn't like what I was listening to. So I told him that he was being a sexist pig, made points of saying how often I play my PS4 and that he can use it more than me, and then rounded it up by telling him to go fuck himself and that we were done. Not the most gracious thing to do, but it got the message across. Deserved, I'd say. I'm sitting in my old bedroom receiving mixed text messages from between "I'm sorry baby, please come back" and "stop being such a bitch." You get the point, Reddit. I don't need that, nor deserve it. I'm a mixture of emotions, but hey, at least I can romance McCready or dance on Fallout 4. Ha ha. TLDR, broke up with him, told him he was being a sexist pig. I'm at my parents, currently romancing McCready, dance on Fallout 4. Good. It is literally obviously just that this bloke, I reckon what's been going on is he's been talking to his mates or he's been listening to someone who's got into his head that has told him that, you know, the girlfriend should do whatever you want them to, blah, blah, blah. And I also feel like he's probably a little bit addicted to going to the pub, and her not wanting to go highlights the problem. And that could just be me stretching a little bit there, because obviously the OP doesn't really say just how much he goes to the pub. But it feels that could be what it is and why he's throwing such a big, massive wobbly, like a big old baby. Yeah, dunno. What do you guys think? So down in the comments of the Best of Redditor Updates post, Damp Blanket says, "Your addiction to playing games a few hours a week is destroying us. Well, off to the pub to drink like I do every day. Bye." Exactly. It's so hypocritical. And then Captain Horny 2 says, "But playing games and drinking are for boys. Girls, do makeup and talk about babies with strangers." No, we do rituals at night with hair and blood. Be careful. And then Corrupt Kit says, "I know, right? Think of the children." I love how this douche canoes mentality was simply, "A woman is property who obeys my every order. You're here to do as I say and make me look good. How dare you be a fully formed person with hobbies and interests? What do you mean you have a personality?" Glad OP got herself away from that crazy train. It had already gone off the rails. Yeah, definitely. My goodness. "Time to cleanse the palate with some Am I the Butthole then?" said no one ever. So this one was posted by Active Performer 410. "Am I the butthole for telling my mother-in-law we are never moving to Virginia? My husband and I met in college. I'm from Queens, New York. He is from Virginia. When we graduated and were deciding what we wanted for our futures, I made it clear I was living in New York. My life is here, and that's where I want to be my entire life. So if he wanted to move back to Virginia, we should end it. He said he wanted to live in New York too, so we moved to Queens and have been here for almost 10 years. His mum was not happy about it and has never gotten over it, but has mostly kept her mouth shut. Flash forward to now, I'm pregnant with our first, a boy. We went to visit his family for Thanksgiving. The entire visit, his mum kept making comments about how sad she is that she won't be able to see her grandson grow up, and how there is so much more family in Virginia, and how my family is so small. For context, yes, my family is small, just my mum, my cousin, her 2 kids, and an aunt and uncle, but we are extremely close and see each other multiple times a week." We ignored the comments at first, but she kept going. Finally, she said outright it's only fair that we move to Virginia now since we've lived in New York for me for 10 years. She said our baby would have so many cousins, aunts and uncles that our village would be stronger there, that Virginia is safer, that we could afford a big house with a yard, and that she's retired, so she could watch the baby all the time. At that point I had had enough. I told her flat out that we are never moving to Virginia. Our lives are in New York and there's zero chance that that's changing. My husband agreed immediately and said that he's lived in both places and genuinely prefers New York. Well, there you go then. Husband and wife are both on the same page. End of story. She shut up after that, but my sister-in-law told me that I was too harsh and I could at least consider it and listen to what she had to say. Nope, because let me tell you why. If the OP had gone, "Okay, I'll think about it. I'm not promising anything and I'm not saying I will, but I will consider it," she would have taken that as, "Yes, they are definitely coming back. They are going to, no questions asked. She says she's going to think about it, so they will definitely come back," and you would never hear the friggin' end of it. So just being clear and concise and saying, "No, we want to live in New York and that's where we're happy," it shuts it down. It's not getting anyone's hopes up then. And then you also don't have to deal with it all the time. Although I'm sure you're still going to have to hear about it a lot. So down in the comments, Comprehensive Putt 5569 says, "Tell sister-in-law you've already had 10 years to consider it and the choice is obvious. It's time for mother-in-law to accept reality, not the butthole." And then Unloading My Head says, "Sister-in-law saying they should consider it and let her say her piece. Like, yes, we made those considerations 10 years ago when we chose to live in New York. And the 10 years of living there to really think about the pros and cons of their choice, including now with the baby on the way. Also, did she not just let mother-in-law say her piece 1,000 times during this trip without engaging?" Exactly. So next post, Pixel Pickle Pie. Oh my goodness, why would you do that to me? "Am I the butthole for being enraged that my husband is currently infertile? Yikes, that's quite the title. My 30F husband, 36M, has bodybuilt for 15 plus years and has an unreal physique. We got together at 21 and 27. Being young, I was naive and believed him when he said he was natural. Oh no. I only asked because my male acquaintances regularly asked me. Over the years, this morphed into I'm natural now, but I used to take tea years ago. I distinctly remember telling him I am massively against drugs, and if he ever went back on it and it affected us having a baby, then I would never forgive him. Cut forward to last December. I was cleaning our apartment and found testosterone. He's somewhat of a hoarder, so I wanted to make sure it wasn't an old one that had been accidentally moved in. So obviously, blokes can take testosterone for many, many reasons. I have a feeling, though, this is one of those illegally acquired ones, though, because I can't imagine that the OP would be going mad about it if it wasn't. So I hid it in my sock drawer. Within 48 hours, he confronted me, angry that I took it. Clearly, he had been taking it. I gave him an ultimatum, me or testosterone. We were set to get married in the summer. He promised me he wouldn't take it again. He promised my parents too, and you believed him? After he promised you the first time he wasn't going to take it again? After he told you that he'd never taken it before and he was all natural? And then you found out and he said he didn't, he just took it years ago? And you still believed him, OP? Come on now, my love. It makes me want to bang my head against a brick wall when I read these sometimes, but at the same time, we all sometimes give people way more of the benefit of the doubt than they deserve. So I don't judge too harshly. It's more that I'm just like, please, OP, see the light. So things settled down, we married, and we have been uber keen on having kids ASAP. Him slightly more so than me even. So we have been trying. It's been a while with no pregnancy, so we took some fertility tests. We just had the test results today. Mine came back good, his showed up as no sperm whatsoever. Crikey. The doctor asked him if he takes testosterone, and my husband replied 12 months ago. The doctor said he'd expect sperm to recover in 3 to 4 months, which means we need to take a load more tests to figure out why there's no sperm. My first reaction was to comfort, obviously, but when he heard 3 to 4 months, my husband seemed less deflated than he had been when he first heard the results. So yeah, he knows he's been taking it, and he lied. Also, for any guys listening who have ever considered, or even do, take testosterone or anything like that to literally just have bigger muscles, what are you doing? Don't do that. Hormone replacement therapy, absolutely. For a guy who has low testosterone and needs it, or someone who's transitioning, that's fine. Don't take it unless you need it, because you can not only damage your sperm and your little dude, you can damage your heart beyond repair. You can give yourself exceptionally higher risk of strokes, things like that. It is not worth it just to be able to flex your biceps a bit better than the other guy down on the other weight bench, So after we said goodbye to the doctor, I asked my husband, was 12 months really the last time you took tea? After some back and forth, he admitted he last took it 2 weeks ago. I am fuming. He lied to me. He's been wasting my time. He risked our future child's health. He risked his own health. He risked our future. But he's mad at me for not being supportive, and he thinks I'm being completely unreasonable with my reaction. He thinks I should be focused on resolving the issue rather than the why. No, not at all. I'd be fuming too. That I married him knowing his history, so I should be okay with it. He's making me doubt myself. Yeah, this is exactly why. Exactly why. When someone shows you that you can't trust them, believe them. Because then you're going to be however many months or years down the line and they'll be throwing it back in your face and going, well, you were the idiot for believing me in the first place. No, it's all on you now. And then you're going to feel like, oh, wait, is it all on me now? Do you know what I mean? It's not worth it. It really isn't. And he obviously has an addiction to it, because why would you be taking it for all that time? How many years? Like 15 plus years that he's been doing bodybuilding? That's a long time. That could have irreversible damage to his body by now. So people of Reddit, am I the butthole? Obviously not. Down in the comments, Emergency Paint 6457 says, realistically, if he, 36, has been on TRT for a long time, he'll probably need to be on it indefinitely. Maintenance dose to keep testosterone within a healthy range. He can go to any men's wellness clinic and get HCG on top of it for fertility purposes. It counters the sperm stopping properties. If he gets off testosterone completely, he'll probably feel horrible for months, if not a year to years. Yeah, that's also a good point, because his body's become so used to it, it's probably dependent on it at this point to a degree. And then International Fun 65 says, underrated comment. Unfortunately, at this point, this is likely a medical issue, and he is going to have to get honest with his doctors about his use. Yeah, he's probably damaged his body beyond repair. Like, his body probably would not make the testosterone itself because it has been artificially placed there for so long. If he came off it, his body wouldn't know what to do with itself. And just think about if they are in a place where you have to pay for healthcare as well. Imagine how much that is going to cost. Okay, final post for the day, posted by HumbleLook5652. Am I the butthole for leaving my friend's wedding dress shopping trip early after finding out at the dinner table I wasn't a bridesmaid? Yikes, on several bikes. So I, 32F, have known this friend, 32F, since middle school. Let's call her Fran. We've drifted a bit over the years. Life, distance, careers in different industries, my own healing journey. But I've always considered her a chosen sister. Anytime we hung out, even if just once a year, always felt like old times. And even though we didn't talk all too much, I've always valued her friendship. Fran got engaged earlier this year. When I saw her in August, she asked me if I would be willing to fly out, 3-hour flight, to go wedding dress shopping with her and her best friend from elementary school. During that convo, she told me that I was the perfect person to go wedding dress shopping with, talked to me about what colour her bridesmaids' dresses should be, sage, not mint or emerald, and asked what we should do for a bachelorette. After coffee, she would even send me photos of outfits for the rehearsal dinner. So, I assumed that I would be in the bridal party. Yeah, I mean, obviously nothing was explicitly said either way, so if it was me, I wouldn't assume, because I'm one of those who doesn't assume anybody wants me as part of anything unless I'm specifically asked. I'm like a vampire in a way. You have to ask me for me to turn up and cross the threshold. Like, specifically as well. You have to be specific or it just won't catch on. But yeah, I mean, being asked to fly 3 hours away, attend all of these wedding party-ish activities, definitely understand why the OP would assume that. Not that I think this is owed or expected, but because how she was talking to me about her wedding. I spent $500 on flights to go wedding dress shopping, in the middle of the government shutdown, mind you. There were 2 appointments for Saturday and 1 for Sunday. I came in Friday night while the other girl was coming in Saturday morning. Fast forward to after the Saturday appointments, there's 7 of us, significant others, siblings, her brother at the pizza joint communal table, casually asked, "So, what's your job in the wedding? I assume you're a bridesmaid." And Fran goes, "Oh, she's actually not," in front of everyone. No private convo, no heads up, a public no. Oh god, how humiliating and how awkward would that be? It was so awkward. I still cringe thinking about it. Later that night, she said, "I just want to acknowledge how awkward my brother made dinner." Newsflash, he didn't make it awkward. I basically told her that I wasn't mad that I wasn't a bridesmaid. If I didn't make the cut, it's fine. But it was the approach in which how I was told. I could have been told Friday night prior to the other girls coming in. I could have been told Saturday morning when we spent the whole morning together, but I wasn't. I wasn't told prior to booking a $500 flight and spending $100 on Ubers to get to her and celebrate her that weekend. This conversation evolved into her telling me she just can't come to me for big things anymore, and she's felt extremely distant to me for years. Years. So I'm sitting there like, then why am I here? Yeah, and why, if she felt like that, has she never come to you and spoke to you about it? I was really hurt and spent the night and the morning crying, so I booked an earlier flight home on Sunday and skipped the final dress appointment. I didn't want to show up puffy-eyed and have it be awkward. As I left, obviously putting everything away, I texted her and her fiancé, woke up with a sore throat, decided to take an earlier flight home, thanks for opening up your home to me, and she responds hours later saying, hope you feel better, thanks for coming up this weekend. Since then, radio silence. She didn't even text me a happy birthday or happy Thanksgiving. For the record, I am genuinely not mad about not being a bridesmaid. I'm hurt because she let me fly out and emotionally show up for her and then humiliated me in a public setting, and also insisted we go out to a bar after dinner. So, am I the butthole for leaving early and not reaching out first? Edit. Wow, thank you everyone for your responses. Combing through all of them now and working through responses, but wanted to add some context for general themes I've seen. I believe I was asked to go because I'm very bubbly, always hype the person I'm celebrating up, and I'm type A when it comes to events. Something her maid of honour isn't. She's very chill. I'm very much a pay attention to the small details to make an event feel special, make a custom PPT in Canva for bachelorette itineraries type of girl. Okay, so she probably wanted to try and get some free wedding planning out of the OP perhaps? The bridal party is small, 3 people. It's been finalised, and this trip wasn't a trial. I didn't add too much context on our convo in the evening, but just to share a little more, I genuinely told her, look, if I didn't make the cut, it's fine, but it sucks. You would always have been in my bridal party for if and when that happens. Your whole family would be invited to my wedding, and on my front, it's disappointing to not feel valued in the way that I value you, but I completely understand, and I still love you and would do anything for you. I would have appreciated you saying, hey, I wanted to let you know that we're keeping the bridal party small and I'm having XYZ in my party, but I still want you a part of the process, so I would love for you to come with me to the wedding dress fitting. It really spiraled, and my friend at one point deadpanned, looked at me and said, look, you didn't make the cut, that's it, what more do you want? And when I said, wow, that's a little savage, she fired back with, you said that, those were the words out of your mouth. Then she also said, if you didn't want to come to the wedding, I get it, which is hurtful, because that seemed like she didn't want me there, and this was her out to not invite me. The money isn't the issue. I would have spent thousands on my loved ones. Money comes and goes, but connections are special and so rare. Fran knows that that is how I show up. Then I was told at dinner in front of everyone that I wasn't a bridesmaid. It could have been a, oh, can we please talk about this later, versus a, no, she's not, to humiliate me, then force me out to another bar. I just felt used. We're fundamentally 2 different people. She's the same person who she was in high school. I feel like I've lived 3 lives since high school. Oh, mate, I feel you there. Edit 2. Okay, so many comments, I'm going to have to take a break until later this evening. I completely admit I should not have assumed or had an inkling of excitement that I would be part of the bridal party. This hurt would have been prevented if I didn't assume that, and I also could have asked for clarity, so maybe that's my own conflict avoidance at play. For context, I was asked to go wedding dress shopping with another friend next year and also help her pick out a ring, but I know I'm not part of the bridal party. I'm just there for a good time, and I get that. Maybe it's the sting of the no happy birthday text mixed with the tenure of the relationship. Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree that the OP should not have just assumed. I do get why you might have assumed when you're being asked to do all the bridal party type things. But I, again, always say, but you know, the saying never assume because it makes an ass out of you and me is a thing for a reason. But the way that the bride dealt with it was just callous, to be honest. She should have said from the off, just so you know, these are the people in my bridal party. I haven't asked you for whatever reason, which I'm sure there could have been a good reason considering the OP had to fly out to go to the fittings and everything. The bride could have just said, you live so far away that it makes more sense for me to have the bridal party be local people. I think the way the bride was so callous is what irks me, to be honest. I don't think that the OP is the butthole. Yeah, they probably shouldn't have assumed, but that doesn't make them a butthole. I think the bride is, though, for the way that they approached it, personally. So down in the comments, starring Drecember says, I can't come to you for big things while simultaneously having you fly out and engage in a big thing. Exactly. And then frequent couple 5498 says, right, make this bride make sense. And then last butterscotch 68 says, bride can't go to OP because that would require effort, consideration, and empathy, etc. But she has no problem with OP going to her and suffering the financial and emotional and social burden for her convenience. Yeah, this is it. I think the bride is just very sort of wrapped up in her own stuff, and obviously is one of them people that doesn't really consider other people's feelings or whatever. Okay, so I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. It is definitely time I got into bed. It is 12:30 at night. Oh my goodness. If you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give it a little like, subscribe, notifications on, sprinkle in a comment. Like I say, I'll be dipping in and out of the comments and making a point to, so we can all have a little chit chat and, have a bit of escapism from the day. And then that is your initiation into the Covenant Void. Welcome, whatever it is you're doing for the day. I do hope you have a really good rest of the day. Goodbye.